Welcome to the video. My name's Steven. In this video, I'm going to be going over my top 5 favorite psychology books of all time. I feel like this is a long time coming. I've only made like one book top 5 so far, and it did really well for like when I first started. So you can go check that out. It was like top 5 self-improvement books or something like that. But today we are doing psychology books because psychology is lit, and also a lot of you guys seem to like my psychology videos, so I figured this might help out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The first book, and I don't have the physical copy on me because I just gave it to my dad, was The 48 Laws of Power. I know this book's like very cliche, but I did really enjoy it. And so I'm sure you probably heard it, you probably read it. It was a very like cliche book for psychology. But so basically in The 48 Laws of Power, Robert Greene goes over how people use power against you and how people manipulate you. And I think that's very important to understand in modern society, especially with social media and the government and the way that we manipulate each other to do certain things. Just because like today, social media and the online space is so big, like you don't even realize how, little psychology tactics are used in YouTube videos and in Instagram videos and all sorts of things to get you to pay attention to them and to get you to watch them. Like I usually take out a lot of the edits in my crap because I'm trying to teach you something and I want you to learn. And so that's why I don't add all this extra dopamine shit in my videos 90% of the time, because that's not what we're here to do. We're here to learn. So I don't add all these extra edits. But a lot of times, you see these YouTube videos where these guys like add all this music and all this extra shit. I mean, even if you look at some of my earlier content, it's kind of that way too. But I probably will add some music to this video just to be completely real with you. But that's because it's a top 5. But that book also helped me understand how my friends and acquaintances use power to manipulate me or to manipulate someone else, or how I've used power to manipulate people. And so it's good to realize that and to like hone it in, but also catch when someone's trying to manipulate you and then steer clear from it. Coming in at number 4, we have Patrick King, Read People Like a Book. This book was really good. I read it at the beginning of this year. And he really opened my mind into actually learning about like facial expressions and bodily movements and why people act a certain way. And this book really started to help me understand the very basic premise of understanding psychology and understanding other people, and that is micro expressions. So when you're paying attention, this book helped me understand and learn how to pay attention to that, like when people have micro expressions and why they act a certain way. And it's actually helped me in my life because I've had times more recently in myself and with other people that I've noticed when somebody acts a little bit different and then they try to blame it on, oh, something came over me. Or even myself, I've looked back in my personal life and realized that I used to think like, oh, something came over me. When in reality, it was me. Like that's the real me deep down that I was suppressing. And whenever I did like roll my eyes when somebody said something, there was a reason for that. And whenever I did, tap my foot on the ground, there was a reason for that. This book, I will say, like one of the biggest lessons I pulled from this book was like how to know when someone actually wants to have a conversation with you or not. That was something that I pulled very quickly. Like when I read this book, I knew that I started to be able to tell when someone was uncomfortable around me or really comfortable around me or nervous. Like I started to pick up those little cues. So that's something that this book really helped me with. So if you're trying to figure out a little bit more about people, this is a fire. All these books are really good. I'm so serious. But this one in particular, I remember like as soon as I finished reading this book, I started like when I would see somebody and they would start talking to me, like I could easily like visualize how they were feeling. And I would just, obviously I'm assuming, so maybe I'm wrong, but I could just see like, okay, this is why this person doesn't want to talk to me. I can tell because of the way they have their feet placed and the way they have their arms, and maybe their arms are crossed or little things like that. This book also helped me understand how to detect a liar like really well. So this is a good book. Very good book. That was number 4. Coming in at number 3, we have another Robert Greene title, and that is The Laws of Human Nature. This is a fatty, but to be honest, the words are kind of big and it's not like the other Robert Greene books. Like I wish I had power on me, but they have like words in the margins and all that shit. That this book's not like that. But still pretty long. And I actually really like this. So I just finished this book probably like 2 weeks ago, and it was really insightful. Like Robert Greene, I thought this was going to be a book about basic psychology, but I actually was blown away by what Robert Greene went over in this book. And it wasn't just psychology, but it was like purpose and why certain people are so purpose driven, why certain people have envious traits, why people are narcissistic, and really breaking down like the psychology behind it, like going back into childhood, like a lot of Freudian psychology, childhood trauma, and creating the person that they are today, the front that they put on. Robert Greene also talked about the micro expressions and how to view that in people. I think Robert Greene opened it up a little bit more. Like in Patrick King's book, this was like the beginning, this was like the starter book to it, and then this kind of like really dove into it. And so I really like that about Robert Greene's book. So very, very good. I would read it again. It was awesome. The next book that I have here, and this is kind of an interesting one, Dark Psychology and Manipulation by William Cooper. And this book is about covert emotional manipulation techniques and mind control and like brainwashing. And I'm only like halfway through it, as you can see, but I seriously like this book. Like, this book is so fucking good. And it's not that hard to read either. It's a pretty easy read. And it talks about like love bombing and narcissism, and it talks about all of Robert Cialdini's tactics and influence, and like gaslighting and just people playing the blame game and stuff like that. And I just think this is very like cutthroat. Like, it is what it is. This is the book. And Read People Like a Book, it kind of goes over, well, if you see this could be the case. The other two books that I've mentioned besides Power, really, I feel like these two books helped me make like assumptions. This book is like cold facts. It's just like, this is how they act when they do this sort of thing. And so it's pretty sick. There's so much information in here, as you can see. Like, in this page, he's going over like blinking and how to read happiness and like facial expressions and stuff like that. This book is so good. So I would definitely recommend picking this up. Again, I really don't have much to say on it. I'm only halfway through it. But again, bro, for this being my second favorite book out of all the books I've read, yeah, fire. Also, I do want to have an honorable mention, because why not have an honorable mention? But I feel like this is just basic, and honestly, it's why I didn't include it in here. But How to Win Friends and Influence People. I read this book like twice. I really fuck with it. It's a great book. It's like the Bible of speaking to people. It's a really, really good book. Actually, seriously, this book deserves like a #1 spot. I'm serious, because like, I know this book's very cliche, but I genuinely don't think I'd be in the position I'm in without this book. This was like I think like the second book I read. I think I had read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and then I picked this up. And this book helped me so much. And I used to read like chapters of this every single day when I woke up. And then I got better with human interaction with this book. If you suck at speaking to people or you're introverted, like, read this book. This book, honestly, like, it should be on the list. It really should be. This is just such a basic book, and so I didn't put it on the list. But yeah, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Like, I learned so much in this book, like how to look someone in the eyes and smile, and how to, compliment, how to genuinely give people compliments, and how to, I guess, like, that's the basic premise of this book, is to have real conviction in the actions that you provoke towards others. And that was a really, really good book. Another one, we'll just talk about this too. Here's my other honorable mention. I'm not done with this book, because this book is a fucking nightmare to read. You can see like how small the words are on these pages. And this is like a good page. Like, here's a regular page. I'm about a third of the way through this book, but this book, Flow, right here, this is The Psychology of Optimal Experience. So this is about inner psychology. If you want to learn about like your brain and why you act a certain way and why you do things the way you do, you should definitely read this book. It also talks about flow state. So it's kind of not really a psychology book, but it is. It's about like your inner psychology. And this is all about your head, not other people's. So very, very good book. I've only gotten like two chapters in, 2 or 3 chapters in, but I will say that reading this book has opened my eyes to why we act the way we do as humans. So I would definitely check this book out. That's my other honorable mention. And then the #1 book, my favorite, honestly, like, this is probably in my top 5 now, is Influence by Robert Cialdini. And this is such a good book. I think Robert Cialdini just absolutely shredded all of this. Like, he really fucking killed it. Just like, he has basically 7 principles. I think it's 7 principles of influence, and he really dives deep into them in this book. And then the newest one, Unity, that's the newer copy as of 2022 or it's like 2020 or 2019 is the newest copy. But this book helped me understand how to make social media videos, like content. This book helped me learn how to speak to like prospects and clients and that kind of thing. And most importantly, I think this book helped me understand reciprocity. Reciprocity is, I think, probably the first one that he goes over in this book. The first, reciprocity, commitment and consistency, social proof, liking, authority, scarcity, and unity. They're all really, really, really good chapters. Like, they're so good, and the examples are so fucking good. But the one that I always take from this book is reciprocity. Like, reciprocity has helped me understand so much. Like, I just know how to act to someone, how to, I don't know, just I'm sure you probably know the law of reciprocity. But if you don't, read this book. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you what it is, because I don't know. I guess I hadn't understood reciprocity, but then when I read this book, it like opened my eyes on how reciprocity works. And so this is sick. Like, this book is actually really, really good. Like, this is my favorite book of all time. Besides, like, The Way of the Superior Man. I think that's my favorite book. But then this is like close number 2. Really, really good book. So I'd recommend reading it. So just a quick recap. My 2 honorable mentions, Flow and How to Win Friends and Influence People. And then we have The 48 Laws of Power, which I do not have on me. Read People Like a Book, Patrick King. The Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. Dark Psychology and Manipulation. And then Influence by Robert Cialdini. All fucking amazing books. I would check them out whenever you get a chance. And yeah, that's the video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, and I'll be making more content like this. Oh, and stop scrolling on social media because it prevents you from reading. And you're getting influenced by the mass media. Thank you for watching so far. Just to let you know, if you are a construction company owner or a general contractor, if you are interested in getting extra appointments in your calendar every month, go ahead and click that link in the description. Thank you for watching.